we going? All right, I got 5 o'clock, so we're gonna go ahead and call the meeting to order. Got a fairly modest agenda tonight, so we'll try to move on through that. Open Meetings Act posted on the northwest wall as always. And Lisa, would you call the roll?
Dustin?
Yes.
Brett?
Yes.
Kent?
Yes.
Heather is absent today.
Others out of town, out at a conference, so join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, everybody. Move on to the consent agenda. Of course, we've got 3 meetings. Do we have to consider those individually, or can they approve them all at once if they choose to?
I think you can do it either way.
Either way. So yeah, you can approve the consent agenda, or you can consider any item separately as you wish.
I'll make a motion to approve the whole consent agenda as one.
For all 3 meetings.
Yeah.
Second. Okay. Motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Any other discussion? Call the roll.
Brad?
Yes.
Kent?
Yes.
Dustin?
Yes.
All right, motion carried. Move on to the mayor's appointments and reports. That's going to be quick. Fishing was poor last week. That's my report. Thanks for covering for me at the fiscal year end meeting. I know that's a tough one. So.
We need to have a motion to read all this.
And no appointments. Hopefully we'll get caught up next month on appointments. Or probably got a few to get through. No public hearings tonight. We had quite a few of those last month, so I guess we get a month off, which moves us on to old business. First item is to discuss the property at 352 North Wilson. It's the one the city's considering ownership.
So, city attorney was able to have a conversation with the property owner, and we tentatively, I guess, came to the understanding that the property owner would like to gift the property to the city. I think they discussed the balance of back taxes, which when I talked to Bruce Mitchell a couple months ago, it was like between $800 and $900. They agreed to pay that. However, they indicated they would need to make payments to pay that off. So that's kind of where it's sitting at the moment. And that is with the caveat that the city would forgive the vacant building fines that are outstanding on the property.
Can I answer that? Yep, so I did, after our last city council meeting, I sent property owner a letter stating that we would give them an extended amount of time to get the property taxes paid up. I think I gave them a deadline of May of next year, which just seems pretty reasonable. And that if he didn't comply and have the taxes paid up, then he was opted to have to pay the vacant building fines that he already owed, and then what else would accumulate. So.
I think I'd like to get the ball rolling, but I also think that he's delinquent on his taxes, that he should pay his taxes. Because I hate to see somebody else coming in and say, okay, other properties owners saying, hey, I'll give you this if you just take care of my taxes. So I don't really want to start going down that. They owe the taxes, they need to pay their taxes.
Did you ask how close is it to a sheriff's sale?
That's what my question was, yeah.
How many years is that for back taxes?
Originally, when I had talked to Bruce at the treasurer's office, he told me that. I have to think about that.
Because it's 3 years
Couple
typically
of months
before
ago.
it goes to.
He has a while, like, I don't know if it was in first year or second year.
Oh,
It's not approaching the third
okay,
year.
gotcha.
So it's a bit too long.
But he's already indicated that he's willing to pay the taxes, but it's going to take some payments, which is going to delay us taking ownership. But I still have an opinion that he should pay his taxes on that property.
I don't disagree with you, Brad. I did wonder if we might be able, in order to expedite things, perhaps we could pay the taxes, but have him pay the city payments over, so that, you know, we could get the property thing done and move forward with that, and then he would have to pay the city. Now, I realize that
I'd
puts
go-
it on us.
I'd go along with that as long as he agrees that he would pay us back the taxes, as long as the taxes get paid.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose there's some risk there involved that he might feel like he has to pay the county, but he might try to not pay the city. I don't know if that would be a problem, but it would speed things up.
And we just want to clean it off then and have that there because it's next to the water department, basically.
Your other, I mean, you're getting a piece of property out of this. The other thing you could do is write it into the contract that you're paying for the property enough to pay the back taxes too. But basically, your payment would be made to the county for the back taxes. Would you just, then you're free and clear. I mean, I don't know if you want to do that, if it's $800 or $900 you don't want to spend, but is that worth
To me,
another
it's
year
not about the
holding it
money.
up?
It's not about, $800 is not that much, it's just the idea of somebody not paying their taxes.
Yeah.
To me, that's
I'm
what-
just wondering if then you just said, okay, well, you've got $900 in back taxes. City's gonna write a contract where we
We'll
pay
buy
you
it.
$900 for that property, but
Be an
the
option.
check's going to the,
Yeah.
Is there a structure on the property?
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, we're gonna have to clean that off.
And it's far enough away from other properties, it wouldn't be a good one to train on, but we would be able to burn it, because it's far enough away from other structures. Got a lot of trees around it, though.
Has it been checked for asbestos?
It probably has not.
By just listening to the commissioners meeting, you know, they gotta tear down that building a long time.
Yeah.
At estimated $35,000 bid, you know, so,
well, they're gonna do it themselves.
right.
Was that, and then somebody just walking away from it?
Yeah. And it went through the sheriff's sale and there was no buyer, so.
Yes, I was just
county
thinking
is-
that, nobody wants it, this could become commonplace.
Be the same thing here, so.
So we're
might
setting
just
a
get ahead of
precedent,
it.
let's.
That's right.
I just wondered if you didn't wanna wait all the way until he makes payment, you know, if it's worth, that lot's worth $900 to you.
I'd probably go along with Joel's recommendation of, you know, we pay the taxes and somehow get him to pay us back so we could expedite the whole deal.
Yeah, I would think our attorney could write something up that, get the paperwork in order that makes him liable to pay us. Because I agree with you, I don't want to set that precedent for the future, that, oh, we'll just pay back taxes. You know, This way he's.
We're not here to obtain properties from people. That's something we decided we did not want to do, but where that does border a city property, it would be,
It's a good piece.
it would be a good ground for us to have.
Yeah.
That's one reason I'd want to do this.
Anybody want to make a motion to give some direction on that? He's saving up.
I think it's a good idea, but I don't want it to be a snowball effect of people giving us properties just so we pay the taxes and then blah, blah, blah. Like Brad said, I think they should have to pay the taxes one way or the other.
Whether he pays it to us, but I still want the public to know that we're paying the taxes for the property, but he's paying the city back for the taxes, so he's actually paying for the taxes.
We're not paying anything for the property.
No, except for cleanup.
He's offered to.
Yeah, we're gonna do the cleanup.
Yeah.
Well, I'll move that the city buy the property at 352 North Wilson and have our attorney draft an agreement with the landowner to have him pay the taxes back to us. We pay the county to get it free and clear or whatever the right verbiage is to proceed and move forward.
I'll second it.
Motion and a second, any other discussion? call roll.
Kent,
Yes.
Dustin,
Yes.
Brad.
Yes.
All right.
So the vacant building fines, then you would waive those, that part of it?
Yeah, I understand. Sorry.
All right, moving on to the regular agenda. The first item's to consider request, wait a minute, did I skip something?
Skip the UTV.
Yeah.
I did. Not yet, I didn't skip it. Under old business, we're still gonna discuss, well, we have the UTV ordinance on as old business. We don't have an ordinance prepared for this month's meeting, so I don't know that there's any action you can take. I don't know if there's anything you want to discuss about it, but the goal is that we would have something next month.
That's gonna be different from what the state statute is? As far as driving after dark, or what is the?
Well,
what's
I
the
think,
goal?
I think anyway, we need to clean up our statute, our ordinance anyway. I think it needs to be cleaned up a little bit. Because our ordinance does not allow for these heavier vehicles, so we need to do that. I would also like to see the flag deal being changed, because we did the ordinance way back when. The flags only have to be 5 foot, well, a lot of the cabs are taller than 5 foot. I think, you know, in my opinion, the flag should be, if they have that flag on, it should be higher than the highest point of the machine. I think we need to, this is my personal opinion too, that kids under the age of 12 should have to be on a helmet. I think that maybe clean up some of your,
I thought they couldn't ride unless they're over the age of 18 anyway. You can't drive around town right now.
Or you're probably, are you talking about e-bikes and stuff?
well, I'm talking about even riders in a side-by-side. Even riders in a side-by-side or a four-wheel. You know, I've seen a while back, I've seen a person driving a four-wheeler and had probably a 2 or 3 year old kid on it without a helmet flying down First Street, you know. To me, that's dangerous.
What is the state rate on for helmets on juveniles?
yeah, or what about babies in UTVs? If they're in a car, they gotta be in a car seat.
Yeah, and
Is
here
there
they don't.
anything in the,
So I know we're opening up a huge can of worms here. I mean, it could be endless on what we wanted to do. I know, but there is, whether we want to change any of that, but there is certain things that we probably need to clean up to get up to date on the changing in the ATV, UTVs, the way they're made and stuff like that. We probably need to clean up some of that
So-
verbiage anyway.
I'm looking here, ours doesn't allow the heavier ones, but they're driving around.
Right, so that's one thing we need to clean up.
State statute does, so we're actually more stringent than statute on the weight.
On the weight, but the state does not allow it to go beyond sunrise to sunset,
That's correct.
except for snow removal.
And there's other ways you could do even a flag deal, say if your machine is equipped with brake lights and turn signals, then you probably don't need to have a flag on it,
The exception to the flag rule, that'd be understood.
you know?
But then when they come in, you gotta get a permit here, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say, some of that just goes back to your ability to enforce those things too. So how we structure that needs to be something that you can actually measure and enforce.
And a lot of the stuff that we're putting in this, you know, like the helmet and stuff like that, a person is moving down the highway and Chelsea or whoever sees it, and we can't pull them over. You know, maybe you can take a picture of it with your phone and catch up with them later. It's just, how do you do that?
So the state, you just can't license them, can you? They're not considered a vehicle.
Right, that's
I
correct.
mean, that's what would eliminate all this, is the state
I'm
says,
sure-
okay, you can
That's what
license it.
That's what South Dakota does.
Yeah, it's a vehicle, but then you probably gotta have a car seat, all that, it takes all this problem out. And they do in Dakota, do they not? I don't know how it reads or what. Do them on the highways?
South Dakota, they license?
Yep, there's license plates on them.
And they get to go out highway down state and,
Yep.
federal.
I don't know about the interstate, but I know about.
oh yeah, I'm sure they don't have the interstate.
Addressing all this stuff that
That would just clean it all up for us. That's like, hey,
Brad brought up stuff that I didn't think
you
about.
got a plate, you got your insurance, you're good to go. That's not gonna happen.
It'll be here for you now.
It might. I'm leery of going beyond the states, you know, on the sunrise to sunset.
Well, generally speaking, with state statute, as a municipality, you can be more stringent,
But you can't be more
but you can't be more
free,
lenient.
yeah.
So we couldn't allow them to go after dark anyway, what you're saying?
But we might need to update our weight limits. And they're racing up down Main Street and Highway 20 all the time. Not racing, but they're not paying attention to that part of the law.
That's allowed in the state statute. 2-lane highway.
They are?
Yep.
Oh, I was told they're not.
Yeah, so was I.
Yeah, we're under the impression that's not allowed,
2-lane highway.
Well, I've seen them down highways.
even though they're not licensed.
May be operate on controlled access highway with more than, let's see. All terrain vehicles utility type shall not be operated on controlled access highway with more than 2 marked lanes.
So it can't be on.
So Highway 20,
They're legal.
no.
No, that's 3.
Highway, Main Street and Highway 7, they're legal.
Okay. Unless you go out on Highway 20 out here, past
Right.
where the lanes
Out
go.
of town.
Yeah.
Now, Rod, did you tell me that the statute does allow for cities to,
Somewhere in here it says that, but it needs to be interpreted by an attorney as far as the sunrise to sunset.
okay,
Because it gets very confusing in there, the way the state statute reads it. They have, you know, the rules and regulations, but then this allows you to do this and this allows you to do that. And, you know, you throw a bale of hay in and you can do anything you want. So,
Like all things.
You're right.
you know, your city attorney probably should research it before
Yeah.
you delve right into the meat of the ordinance as far as that's
Do
concerned.
we have a group or something that helps with ordinances too?
What do you mean?
Well, did you have a, like, anytime you did updates? But you had somebody that
Usually
knows?
just the city attorney.
It's just the city attorney,
yeah,
okay.
we did hire a company to go through the whole
They-
book a few
they-
years ago.
That's the
Yeah.
whole
And they just bring you up to date with statute typically, and
On
then
the state.
incorporate your new ones in the book and stuff.
Does the league give you updates to ordinances at all? Because like, so NACO gives the county updates for its, you know, thing, and
That's a good question.
NASB gives schools updates constantly for their policies.
They, yes and no. If you go to
Because you
their
guys are kind of a
conference,
patchwork more than
you go to
anything.
the conferences, they give legislative updates.
But nothing as far as like updating your ordinance books or anything like that. They don't do any of that. I suppose there's enough differences in between all their members that there's nothing really uniform for them to send out. Because yeah, I mean, NASB does it constantly with schools on policies to account for legislation, you know, to account for legislation. I know NACO sends updates to counties.
Oh, that's an ATV.
Yeah, no, we don't
This is
get a
side by
clean
side.
little booklet
What
or
do they
anything
want?
that says
Like,
make
what's
these
it
changes.
Right.
Yeah.
But do they give you like guidance of, okay, hey, this legislation passed that changes state statute on this, and since a lot of you have
In the
ordinances on.
conferences, they cover.
Just
The
conferences.
magazine too will kind of highlight certain things, like if it's a big issue, they'll let you know.
Open Meetings Act, they usually are more aggressive about letting everybody know.
Okay, so, I mean, since questions off to Michael, or?
Well, yeah,
Yeah, we'll have Michael draft a draft of changes,
Well, we need to go up on the way.
and you guys can consider that next month, and then if you want to make changes
Okay.
again, we can make changes.
Whatever they say about flag or whatever the statute allows.
It'd be really cool not to have a flag if I got brakes and blinkers on my.
Yeah, I think, you know, it's pretty spending the money to get that stuff on it, 'cause that's not cheap putting that stuff on
No, it's
there.
not.
And, yeah, if you have the brakes and blinkers on there, the flag is there to make you aware that the vehicle coming. But the flags are so low now, you can't see them because of the cab. But yeah, brake and blinkers, I think should be able to eliminate your flag.
Be like an exception to the flag.
Yeah.
Except your ATVs don't have that.
Right, if they don't have blinkers or, tail lights, or brake lights, then you need to have a flag on it. And I think the ordinance says that the flag needs to be at the rear of the machine, and it doesn't say it needs to be behind the cab, it needs to be at the rear of the machine. So,
Okay, well, yeah. Hopefully we'll have something passed next month, or at least sent back for further drafting next month. If you don't like what you see next month.
Okay. Is there anything you want to add, Rod, or anything like that?
No,
I think I think the main thing that would open this up is you'd like to see it be able to used after dark.
After sundown.
After sundown.
So there's sundown, sunrise,
Yeah,
sunset.
that's right.
Okay, now we get to move on to the regular agenda. First item is to consider a request by the commercial club for a street closure for bed races.
Yep, the flyer in the packet shows the Saturday, October 25th. It's like from 6 to 11 in front of the fire hall. So usually we've closed from the alley there east of, GJW, in between GJW and the fire hall and Walnut Street. Yeah. Walnut Street, just right there.
That's okay with you?
Well, we're gonna be there, we're kind of helping sponsor it, so we'll be there. If there's a fire, we just stop everything, or if there's an ambulance call, we'll just stop everything and do what we need to do.
Rock the
So
roast the bed.
there's usually, 5, 6, 7, 8 firemen and with personnel there anyway, so. This is where it's been held for many years, so it works. And we have some activities going on inside the fire hall at that same time, or that day.
Is this on Halloween? No, it's the week before.
Yeah, we
I would make a motion to allow the Ainsworth Commercial Club to, for a street closure for the bed races on October 25th from Walnut and 3rd to the east side of Alley, going west. Did I say that right?
And just on East Third Street, right?
Yeah.
That's what
One more time.
From 6 to 11 p.m.
From
6 to 11.
6 to 11.
I'll
I
second.
think you got it.
That should be right in front of us.
I second it.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion?
Yeah.
Or,
Dustin,
Yes.
Brad?
Yes.
Kent?
Yes.
motion
As long as
approved.
the city council.
Line your teams up.
I was
There's
gonna
Yeah,
a-
you
say,
gotta do.
there's
City
nothing
council.
about the council having a team on this.
And Greg said he'd be your writer.
No, I'm the MC.
All right.
Right, I'm the MC. I get roped into that every year.
And I'm gonna be gone, so I'm going to Buster Gig that day.
I get to do play-by-play.
Play by play. Oh, man, small town America.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on from the bed raises, the next is to discuss and consider speed signage, which I guess we discussed this a few months ago and kind of approved it, and so this is,
We did, it's kind of a next step to it, but I wanted to clarify a couple things. The state got a little bit confused. There are 2 different sets of signs coming into Brown County. So the first one we'll discuss has nothing to do with you. So these are the flock cameras. We got a $48,000 plus grant for these. These are gonna be ownership of the sheriff's office and the county. So that is not you guys.
Where are they going?
The maps are in here, they will both be on Highway 20, 183, yep, so we'll have 2 in Rock County.
Oh.
And then we also got 1 on each of the counties south of us bringing traffic in, so they also
Oh,
agree.
so they're not near the city at all?
No, they're strictly county. They do have ongoing annual fees and a bunch of those kinds of things, a much heavier, more involved, more robust sign.
So when you roll into Brown County, you're gonna get a shot slide flashing?
I just do the paperwork. Those won't flash at you. Those are a separate deal. Those are LPRGs, so those are a different deal. You are the speed board signs. So they are in the county. The sheriff's office has paid for one. The roads department has paid for one. I have your invoice for your 2 signs. The state doesn't want me to have ownership, and I agree with them. what if something happens to emergency management or our interlocal and who has all of that. I'm pretty sure Mark talked to Lisa. I did receive an email a couple days after that because I was like, hey, I might want to be included in this conversation. I'm not sure what he told you, but cities usually have ownership of them. Is
I
that
told them that was fine for the ones that, you know,
Yeah.
we were purchasing.
the 3 that you guys will do, correct?
We're from 2.
You've purchased 2. The sheriff's office is going to, they've already purchased the one on South Highway 7, but it's technically within city limits.
So that's up to you.
So it'd be all
Yes,
3.
so we're gonna maintain that one too.
So I do have the applications that I've submitted, and the first round that was approved, and then the second round that then came back to you. I don't know if those are the current ones, because I received different ones for those after that date. These are from May, those were from July, so I want to make sure they didn't get back to me prior to the meeting as if these were the appropriate applications, but I still have them, and they're pretty easy to fill out.
What is our bill for 2?
Your bill for 2 is $8,208. So, and that will,
Set money aside for those two, right?
yeah, but it's just,
But, well, I think wasn't, like, was we ABC or somebody, yes, how do, we talked about
You didn't
that.
appropriate it, you just said that you would approve buying them,
Okay.
so. I mean, you didn't
Say where the money's
specify
coming from.
where you were taking it from. I mean, it's
Can we
probably gonna
apply
come
to
out of the
ABC?
roads department. What's that?
Can we apply to ABC?
We could, yeah.
Are these powered or
they're solar powered.
solar?
Yeah, and so then there's some conversations on that. I know myself and Kenny Turpin are getting trained on all the bells and whistles and stuff, just so that we have somebody here, that we're not waiting for a service person or anything like that, you know? We're getting trained on them, because the roads department will own the one on Meadville Ave. And they'll maintain that one,
But we
so.
need to decide to say, on the 3, if something
Yeah.
breaks on them,
We're gonna go buy a new one if somebody drives over it.
well, that's insurance should cover that.
Yeah, and then from the grants that I did apply for, again, I wasn't the appropriate entity to apply for the grants, but they were like, it's much easier to replace something that's already there. It's a lot easier to get funding for a repurchase versus a established thing, which is what they told me. I don't know if that's legit or not, but we just have to have the appropriate name on the application.
So kind of what you're coming to us for is, we agreed to pay for 2,
Mhm.
but you also you're asking us to maintain those 2 plus 1.
Have ownership of 3, the
Of
3 that are in the city limits. The city of Ainsworth will have ownership
Which
of
we
them.
would also maintain, or if anything breaks on them, we would be
Yep.
responsible for them.
But
Do you know, have you talked to people that have they had any issues with them?
Springview just put theirs in. They went with a different, smaller sign, and I actually didn't even notice that they, I
Oh,
called her,
I
and she's like, you did?
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
going too fast.
Oh, well, that's why
I
I
didn't
couldn't get it to fly.
Arrested.
No, I mean, somebody
So
that's
it works,
somebody that's
yeah.
had them for maybe a year or so, has they had been any maintenance issues or anything?
Not
like
that I'm aware of, but again, I'm talking with Atkinson, Orchard, some of them, and
Neely's got 'em.
yeah, I did talk to Neely though. So,
I still think, I think the project's a very good project. I'm glad we're getting them, so I think the project is good, so, yeah.
and I appreciate everybody kind of working together. When they contacted me, it was like, well, the county wants this, the city, like, everybody wants this, who does it? And we were like, yeah, sure, we'll do it, but then they don't, you know, so we really appreciate you guys working with everybody and finding a solution to get them all done, so.
Where are
thank
they
you for that.
slowing them down on Meadville? Before you get the bridge?
It will be,
I think at that
No.
intersection, it sounds like.
it's, yeah, the north of 35, where it comes down to 35, north
Oh,
of
over the
380,
bridge
yep,
and down.
on the north side of the canal,
That's good.
yeah, so. And then your South Highway 7 is still in city limits also.
I don't know about you, but it does slow, to me, it does
It
slow
does,
people
it
down.
does,
I think it does.
Well,
It
it's
catches
eating.
my
The one in Neely coming around that
Sorry.
corner, you see that one, it's,
Mhm.
you always slow down.
Will the state install, and then we just have to?
I believe we're installing them now.
You are?
So the
You or like-
county, city, like, Kenny and I are getting trained to do it, and I'm just like, I don't really care, I'll do it. I'm perfectly capable and fine with doing that. I mean, the commissioners are fine with it, we're all just trying to get to the end game of who has what resources and what time, and they can tear down a building, they can put in a flash, sorry. But, you know, we can all just
You
work
probably have
together.
to get with the state
Oh,
on
yeah,
where
I'm
they
sure we
want
can.
it and all
Yeah.
kinds of specs.
Well, the application
on
has
there.
the map, and I actually, they were like, oh, just hand draw me a map, and I was like, no, we screenshot Google and we take a picture of the sign we wanna mount it to, that's how we operate. So, that's.
Right
my
where
goal
the
with it.
speed changes.
You're 45, yeah, coming in. And we had talked about bumping them out, and that delayed the process a little bit of why would we install a sign if we're gonna bump the signs
And what
out.
happened to that?
And so we're gonna try the flashing signs and see if that doesn't help remedy our situation some. And once it's on that speed reduction, if the speed reduction moves, it'll stay with the speed reduction.
But
So-
where is that speed reduction moving out? Where is that?
I don't know that
think
they've
it-
done
I don't
any.
think it is.
Right
I've
now,
seen no
Sheriff came to
indication
us
that
and he was
they're,
gonna, and then.
and they have not, they've
We've
not
all-
agreed to do anything.
We've
state
all written
kinda
letters
dug
of
that.
recommendation that they need
Yeah,
to
the state's
do.
kind of dug their toes in and say, we're not gonna do anything right
I
now.
think they did a study in May.
Yeah, they were out there for
We
a
just
day.
haven't seen the results.
We wrote a letter.
Because that's when they initially moved them,
No
because they
passing.
were initially farther
For
out.
the
and
construction,
state did
for the
the state did
construction.
a study,
Yeah.
and at
We
that
just don't know
time,
what the results of the
Yeah.
study
But there's a lot of
They
moving
did a second
pieces
one.
here. This is at least a feasible moving piece that has a big flashing sign that at least is a start for us to make some progress
Just-
towards.
Take your sign about 3/4 a mile further and start.
I'm a little rule follower, wherever they say to put it is where,
Okay.
where I'll put it, but if you guys approve,
Yeah,
I'll give Lisa the originals that I had, but I wanna make sure that there's not a new form, because my forms were a new one, so I
So the
don't,
only thing that's really changed from when we voted to get to was
the ownership.
the ownership and the maintenance of 3 instead of 2.
Is that, what do you need from the council?
Just make a motion that you guys agree to assume ownership of the 3 signs and you'll cover it on your insurance and,
Yeah, I think for the permit,
yeah. So,
I'll make a motion that the city of Ainsworth takes responsibility, ownership of 3 speed signs and do the maintenance on them
And insurance?
and insurance.
Got a motion, motion and a second, any other discussion?
what's our deductible insurance? Just curious.
for something like that, what's different?
Probably about the
depending on-
price of one speed sign.
I'm gonna say maybe $1,000.
Oh, okay, so that one.
But if somebody runs into it, their
It's
insurance
their
will cover it,
insurance,
it's not our
yeah.
insurance, so, and that's probably, if there's gonna be one damage,
Or if you catch.
yeah, or
Well,
the,
we just had that happen actually.
or the state snowplow
Flashing
hits it.
crosswalk got taken out,
What did?
the flashing
Yeah.
crosswalk on Main
Flashing.
Street got taken
Ainsworth,
out.
Ainsworth Inn or whatever that is
Really?
down there.
And, yeah, we're repairing that.
I'm sure you had a camera on that one, didn't you?
But they know who did it.
those sure don't, I don't, those new ones, they're tougher to,
They're hard to
to me, they're tougher to see than the old ones we had.
It's
And
pretty,
you watch,
if you're
it's
not
tough.
paying attention.
You sit, because I pick an elementary kid up every day, and you sit at this intersection, and kids will go and press that, and it lights up, and one lane will stop, they'll start coming out, and the other lane goes.
Especially if
Most
you're
of the
looking at
kids
the
are pretty
sign.
good of making sure both sides
Not
are
real
stopped
bad.
before they go, but there'll be times one side stops and the other side does not, and it's,
Well, you know, like, I'm guilty of, like, you see it flashing, and you're like, okay, it's the school zone like it was for how many years just to slow
Right.
down. They're like, oh, shit, no, that's the,
Stop, stop. It almost needs to be red instead of yellow.
yeah, like, it needs to be something
Yeah.
like
The
totally,
yellow needs to
it's
be.
kind of whitish,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just,
yeah, it's
it
like,
doesn't.
you don't,
It's hard to see.
Okay, circling back, we got a motion and a second.
Thanks, Joel.
Any other discussion pertaining to the motion? Call roll.
Brad,
Yes.
Kent,
Yep.
Dustin.
yes.
Motion carried, thanks
Thank you,
Tracy.
no, thank you
Thanks,
guys,
Tracy.
appreciate it.
All righty. Gotta be careful, I don't skip some. Moving on to the next item, it's a recommendation by the ABC for plumbing $3,000, $3,075 for a AA frame chair theft project.
Jeep just texted me and said he's planning on being, he thought the meeting was at 6, so he's planning on being here. I don't know if you want to skip over and do the next ones, but
We can wait on that. I mean, if
Okay.
we adjourn, we adjourn, but if we can leave that for last. Everybody's good with that?
Yeah, no problem.
If anybody's
Okay,
any questions on that, so.
so move on to the next item is a recommendation by the LB 840 Loan Committee, facade application, $10,000. Hopefully you got to review that. Kristen, did you have anything?
This application is pretty straightforward. The project's much larger than what we can actually fund for up to the 50%, so they are at the maximum. Again, very straightforward application. Does anybody have questions for us? It was a unanimous recommendation to approve.
The place, that one needs it.
Yes.
It'll be a big help.
See a lot of people at that place. It's a very active place, so it's nice to see.
I move we approve application 25-05, facade in the amount of $10,000.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? Or call roll?
Kent,
Yes.
Dustin,
Yes.
Brad.
Yes.
Motion carried unanimously. Next on the agenda is to discuss and consider a special designated liquor license for the Sand Hills Lounge for the Pheasant Forever Banquet to be held here on November 7th, 3 to 12, basically 11:59. I think this is, I don't know how many years it's been
been a lot
going
of
on. A lot of years here. It's nothing really new, but I
I
don't know
move,
that there's been any problems in the past.
I move we approve a special designated liquor license for Sand Hills Lounge for President's Forever Banquet to be held at Ainsworth Conference Center on November 7th, 2025, from 3 p.m. to 11:59. And not a minute more.
I'll say.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion?
That crowd, they'll probably got here before.
Call the roll.
Dustin,
Yes.
Brad.
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Liquor license is approved. Moving on to nuisance properties. We have 3 properties to consider. We'll go one at a time, I guess. Start with resolution number 2506, 373 North Oak Street.
So you've sent all these out, and it's just crickets, you haven't heard anything?
Yeah, nothing. Besides the one, the last resolution, the property owner did contact me this morning, so. But for the 373 North Oak Street, I issued that property owner a couple violation notices regarding the grass nuisance on the west side of the property. On the final notice, I stated that they had until the said deadline to correct the nuisance, and if they did not, then a nuisance abatement procedure was going to be held at our next city council meeting. The property owner was given more than 4 weeks to comply with the city ordinance. It has not either complied nor contacted the city regarding the said nuisance. Nuisance remains as of today.
Have you actually talked to him? Or just sent letters?
I have sent letters, it's how, I mean,
I just can't imagine him not doing it. It's like, it blows my mind, like, I'm just totally blown away, like,
Get them more.
I just wanna walk over there and be like,
It's a simple, it looks like it's a simple deal to do, take care of, very simple,
Yeah.
compared to other ones.
like, this is as easy as it gets right there.
Yeah.
I just can't imagine it. That's why I was like, you know, like most,
Get that open.
sorry, most kids his age don't even pay attention to what's in the mail.
Just mow it.
Yeah.
no, I guess it's all for adulting.
Yeah.
Check the mail,
Okay.
maintain your property,
It's in- It needs clipping,
keep your dogs in.
so.
So they wanna,
I would make a motion that we, that resolution 25-06, 373 North Oak Street be listed as a nuisance.
Second.
motion and a second. Any other discussion?
I also, I did issue him last summer too with the same nuisance on the same side, and he did take care of it then. So, I mean, he has received in the past my notices, because it was the same nuisance last summer. He got it, he took care of it, why he's not now?
Okay. Any other discussion? Call roll.
Brad,
Yes.
Kent,
Yes.
Dustin.
Yes.
Motion carried 3-0. Move on to 2507, 530 North Woodward Street.
So, same, issued him a couple notices. After my first notice, I followed up. I did see that he had a lawnmower in the front yard. It looked like maybe it broke down and just kinda,
Doesn't have any tires on the wheel on, does it?
and then hasn't messed with it since over the next few weeks duration of time. So, again, with the final notice, I stated that you have until the said deadline to take care of the nuisance, and if you don't, then
It's also the pickup.
an abatement procedure hearing would be held at the city council meeting. He also was given 4 weeks to comply, no contact, nothing.
Is that pickup license, is it?
It is, and the registration's valid, I did check into that, it's just,
Yep. Going on that one too.
Is this a mowing, is this a weed, or like a weed issue too?
so it is a grass nuisance and also a, maximum time limit parking, which usually at this time of year, I haven't really been fully enforcing until we get more into the snow season, but considering, this pickup, I'm guessing is inoperable because it has a back flat tire and it has a bunch of yard debris around and underneath the pickup on the street.
What-
In
what-
the wood pile too, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
and
this
the-
one had debris in the yard too.
Yep, the wood pile, so it's like they cut up some wood, but kind of just left it, let the grass grow around it, and it's not.
Got those crates in the backyard too, weeds growing up around those.
Right, which, you know, it's okay to maintain stuff in your crates on your property, but it just has excessive vegetation growing through the crates and around the crates. So,
I move that we approve resolution 2507 declaring 530 North Woodward Street a nuisance.
Second.
Motion and a second, any other discussion? Call roll.
Kent,
Yes.
Dustin,
Yes.
Brad,
Yes.
Motion carried unanimously. Moving on to number 2508, 121 West 2nd Street.
The picture's worth 1,000 words, by the way. Thank you for that.
sorry, the format came out all messed up on when I emailed those reports. Anyways. So on this last nuisance property, the property owner did call me this morning, and I did talk to her. Back in June, I issued her more of like a courtesy letter stating, that the greenhouse on the property, is in disrepair, and that it needed to be maintained or tore down, and also the excessive vegetation that has grown inside the greenhouse. I didn't hear anything back, and then in July, I sent a second notice regarding the grass nuisance, and with the disrepair of the greenhouse. She did call me. She asked what she needed to do to comply with the building permit of the structure to maintain the greenhouse, because they wanted to keep it, fix it up, and use it seasonally for the business. So, looking into the code book and the zoning regulations where it's zoned at, it is okay to have the garden center there. I did tell her then that the grass nuisance was a priority and that it needed to get taken care of. She did come in and she did fill out the building permit. We just didn't get it back to her anyways. So, still with the grass nuisance remaining, as I gave her a final notice, say, get it done by the deadline, if not, the abatement procedure hearing would be held. So, talking with her, where she receives her mail, somebody else takes care of the mail, so the final notice, I guess, got lost. She said that she would get it done. I told her what we would do tonight and what to expect, and she was okay with that, and that they would get it taken care of this weekend, and that she would call me and let me know once it was done.
So what's your recommendation on this one? Maybe wait through the weekend and maybe move this one on till next month? See if she does, and as long as she gets the interior cleaned up. And I know, like, there's some stuff that is not structurally sound anymore as far as those rods that hold the tarp and stuff. Those probably need to be taken down. Do you think we should declare this one a nuisance at this time, or she says she's gonna take care of it this weekend? We're gonna work with her, or what's your thought?
On the grass or the structure?
Both.
Um,
I mean, the structure, you said she's gonna do some work on it this weekend. Is she gonna
the
work?
grass,
But nothing on
grass.
the structure itself?
No, the only thing they did on the structure was take the plastic, finish ripping the plastic off of what used to be the roof back way, whatever they used it for, a temporary project.
Because those tubes that are supposed to hold the plastic up, where those things will cook on, they're not gonna hold any plastic. They need to be removed. If they're gonna use it next year, they got to put new ones up anyway.
Yeah,
So I think that they should at least also take care of that part of it as well, because that makes it look terrible as well.
yeah, okay.
Because those tubes don't serve as any structural, so they should be able to take them all down and still keep the same structure, as long as they take those down and get all the vegetation out of, inside of it, and on, between it and that other building to the east.
Okay, yep, we can wait then. She said
What do
she
you guys think?
Yeah. I think there's probably some usable tubes in there, and I'm assuming they would have to, you'd want to remove the tarps for the winter anyway.
Mhm.
I don't know how a greenhouse works, but I don't think you'd want the tarps up all winter, you'd probably collapse it.
Right.
That's probably exactly
Right.
You know, so like, I could see like, have a disassemble it, so there's just a skeleton there for the winter.
Yes, I see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, probably 4 tubes for sure, that probably cannot be reused.
Right, right about half of them.
My 2 cents, Kelsey's been working on them for 3 months. And, they've known that whole time that it was an issue.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned when we get to this stage and then start back. I mean, if we declare it a nuisance, does that immediately create a fine, or is there
No,
another
if you,
time
so by
period?
declaring it a nuisance through resolution, then I am able to issue them a notice, just saying that what the city council decided, and that they have 5 business days from when they receive notice to either correct it or appeal it. And if 10 days go from the notice where either they chose not to comply or appeal, then after those 10 days, I'm able to send a report to our attorney for prosecution.
So, I mean, I guess based on that, my recommendation would be to consider it a nuisance, and they're gonna have time to fix this before anything else happens. We've gone through such a long process to get to this
Right.
place that, you know, people, and it is a long process, people have opportunities to correct it before it ever gets to this. So, I mean, I hate to be heavy-handed.
No, I agree, I just thought, where, she's told, where she's gonna get fixed up, but yeah, if she can still do what she says she's gonna do this weekend, and then you can just lay off on,
Yeah.
gets it done, then lay off on
I was
it
gonna
then.
say she can
But
issue a
yeah.
thing to say that it's been resolved.
Okay,
So she did file for a building permit though?
Yeah, she did fill out a building permit. It wasn't approved at the time.
Or just wondering if she needs to have an approved building permit to do whatever?
Yeah, but this more falls back onto the nuisance in and around the
Originally,
structure.
when she put the structure up, it was posed to the city as though it was temporary, because I think it was like an FFA project or something. And so you don't have to have a building permit if it's a temporary structure. But then they just never took it down. So we basically told
Now
them,
it's becoming clear.
now it's become more of a permanent structure, and so if you're gonna leave it there, you need to do a building permit.
On the east side or west side of the street? Or, I mean, north or south side of the
It's
street?
behind Hairpins.
Behind here, it's on Gotcha. I was trying to picture that block, right?
Right
Well,
behind Hairpins.
I'll move it then and we move forward. If they make great progress, you guys can act accordingly. So I move we do approve resolution 2508, declaring 121 West Second Street a nuisance.
Second.
Motion and a second, any other discussion? And that was good discussion,
Yeah.
in my opinion. Go ahead and call roll.
Justin,
Yes.
Brad,
Yes.
Ken,
Yeah.
Motion carried unanimously.
You're just gonna miss it.
So are most people kind of cleaning up their properties, or what do you, or how's this going? Because to me, I figured there'd probably be way more than 3 in the whack here.
Yeah.
I mean, you drive around town, you're thinking, shit, we ought to see 20 a month, you know?
Especially the vehicles.
Yeah.
The vehicles.
So like, are they kind of,
Yeah, overall, majority are being compliant. Sometimes, you know, I might give them a, depending on what the consent of the nuisance is, I'll give them a second notice, and then there were a couple properties on that same street of the first nuisance, and they're of that, after the second nuisance, then they got it taken care of after the second notice I gave them. But
Yeah, I mean, in your report, you have a number of 400 and some
Oh, yeah, and
actions, and 340 of them have been resolved. So I think, you know, it was like 80% of them must be carrying through and doing something.
Just a little bit of a reminder.
Just a little boost, yeah.
how would you try to work with people? Kelsey does a good job of, you know, if they say they're gonna do something in a certain time frame, she'll kind of work with them and let them, you know, stick to their word, and it's really not, it's when you
communication
don't
goes a
hear
long
from
ways,
them,
but
where
when
they don't
you know,
follow through.
property owners want to stay silent and not communicate with the issue, then that's where we have problems, but.
well, it looks like a lot of these, you've been hacking at them since June.
Then when you get to the snow time where it's all been covered up, they think they're just fine now.
Yeah.
I guess that's why I was saying that usually when it gets to here, they've had lots of time. Because Kelsey's not a knee jerk, you know, really go after them. You've been trying to work with people, so by the time it comes here, they've had a lot of opportunity.
All right, we're gonna jump back up to the ABC recommendation, $3,075 to JDLP LLC. This is recommended by ABC, and I think it seems like a good project to me. But I don't know what you're-
They 5-0 approved it, right?
Yes, nobody's here from the ABC that I see anyway, but yes, it was a unanimous approval, I guess.
I guess I do kinda like what they did to the old church there and kinda got it all fixed up, otherwise it was just gonna be vacant, and, you know, they purchased it and fixed it up, and I think it's got a good, what they're doing with it is a good deal for the community.
What are they doing with that?
It's like AA and Al-Anon and other groups meet in there to help themselves, I guess. Crisis teams will meet in there to discuss things.
I have a weird question on this one, now that I know maybe what it's for. Can the city sales tax for ABC, can it be given to a private entity? Because they are not, from what I understand, a 501c3, they're not a nonprofit. Because they've had us looking for some grants too, and they chose to just keep it as a, it
They're
is
not a
as a,
501c3.
they are not, they are an LLC. So that was one of
What's the
the
difference
main
in a
questions.
business on Main Street or something, a lot of them are LLCs and give them money to too.
But that's not ABC though, is it? That's, you're LPA for it.
Yeah, a different one.
Yeah.
We did not get afforded that.
Because I ran into that on ABC with, I don't think, was that one where, I'm trying to remember if Lions Club was eligible for. Because when I applied to ABC for the pond, if
You
there was
applied
one
with
of,
the Lions Club.
it was the Lions Club, it must have been the foundation that the Lions Club was not eligible for funding for. I couldn't remember which one that was, but.
You gave the preschool money.
They're a nonprofit, they're a 501c3.
They're 501.
Preschool's nonprofit.
They make money, but they're nonprofit.
Yeah, it's
Well,
not-
nonprofit.
This group is actually definitely nonprofit,
Do
but
we
they
check our work?
don't have,
He said that they looked into forming a nonprofit, but for what they were doing was,
And that's a process, because we're looking at doing the same thing for housing
And the ABC did talk about that, you know, the concern of private entity, what if they decide to not have the meetings there anymore, you know, then they did kind of talk about that. And I guess at the end of the day, I don't want to necessarily put words in their mouth or speak. My understanding of their conversation basically was that it's a community activity, it's a community event, it's open to the public. And ultimately they thought it was a betterment to the community.
I like the purpose of what they're using that building for, myself.
You could potentially approve it with the condition that as long as it's used for community meetings.
I'm just worried you're gonna get into another LB 840 situation where like we open something up, because now you're inviting every private business owner to be able to apply for a betterment. You know, if they put in a little, you see a lot of community gardens and things, where do you draw the line, I guess, is, I'm just throwing this out. I do think it's a good project, I'm not just saying it's not.
Again, it comes down to what the rule, I mean, I'd have to look at the rules for the ABC money, if they, what restrictions they.
Public parks, pool
What?
maintenance.
Oh, that's it? That's the, that's not enough rules.
I mean, I think in the ballot measure, it just says for community betterment. I don't know that it actually, that says anything more than that.
It has to be nonprofit, or it doesn't have to be,
I'm not aware for ABC that it says that anywhere. I understand Kristen's concern.
Yeah, I do too.
It makes
I'm glad you
things-
brought that up.
It makes things difficult when you're trying to set parameters for, you know, how you're judging the use of the funds.
Or would a better way, I mean, another option would be, could you take it to LD 840? Because it is technically a business. I don't know, I said I don't want to make it more difficult than.
And it says, I mean, the last thing is, and investment in the community, I would certainly consider that purpose, investing in the community.
If you guys put something in there that as long as it is used for community purpose for, you know,
So you're down the road that's no longer used, you're gonna take it out, make them pay it back?
or reclaim it, are those reclaimable? I don't know on those.
Usually they're built for the structure, number of steps, stuff like that.
That's gonna be money gone.
I'm gonna talk about a lot of money here, so.
I know that for a while, that organization, they were changing locations constantly, so to have a spot that's consistent.
Why they did that according
Yeah.
to what Jake had presented.
Yeah, not just have that building be vacant.
You said the ABC kind of brought up the same concerns and stuff like that, but
They
they
did
voted,
talk about
but they
it.
voted
They
5-0.
voted unanimously.
They voted unanimously.
That was my understanding.
I'll make a motion to approve funding of $3,075 to JDLB LLC for a AA framed lift, chairlift project for their facility, as long as they're using it for public betterment.
Second.
Motion and a second, any other discussion? Want to call the roll? Go ahead.
Yeah, Dustin,
Yes.
Brad,
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Is that the full cost of the lift, or is that partial?
It's 50%.
50%, thank you.
They were gonna check in the other 50%.
They put in the other half.
Thank you.
Yeah, the total was 6,001.
Okay, thanks.
You know, I just keep in mind, I mean, we can safeguard other ABC requests down the road.
Yeah.
And, you know, I know that committee's faced some, sometimes they're tough, but if they don't like it, you know, I'd encourage them to not. They need to stand their ground too, so looks like they were for it.
I think that's justifiable. I mean, that's just me. I think that's justifiable. for public use.
That's a good purpose. Moving on to city administrator, clerk treasurer report.
Yeah, it was a super busy month, but when I sat down to write, I'm like, pretty much everything's the same that I did. It's pretty much all budget and the fiscal year, and so, you know, 3 highlights here. I did go to the legislative committee meeting in Lincoln. That was that committee that I got put on for the league. I mean, it was a good meeting. They spent a lot of time talking about EMS issues in small cities and rural communities in Nebraska, which I wasn't for sure the resident expert on, but when I came back, I visited with Brad a little, and he was,
It's a very
you were
good-
aware.
Are there communities that are really struggling to
Yes.
have enough people with the stringent requirements
Struggle
now
for
to
what
get
now?
the EMTs?
Oh,
Yeah,
that's.
and I know there has been, even this last week, because we just ended up losing 2 more EMTs. They moved to Long Pine. They're still on our squad, but they don't cover their shift like they used to be able to do, because they're too far away. And with this summer and stuff like that being gone, there's been a couple times where we've almost had to say, okay, our backup plan is Bassett. So somebody in Ainsworth has a heart attack, we don't have any EMTs, they got to pay Bassett. Some people had to probably give up what they were planning on doing, just so we can get that covered. It's a big concern here in town already.
Is
It's
this
there.
due to more stringent legislation?
It's
At
due,
the state level?
no, it's due to, people not wanting to do that thing,
Oh, I
not to do
get
that.
that. I thought maybe
Uh,
something had changed
No,
just
no,
in the last few
nothing's
years.
changed.
Okay.
The training it takes, to become an EMT, it takes you about 9 months of class. You do have to pass the National Registry test. It's really no cost because the way the county does it, and the banks too, it costs like $2,000 to take the class. The banks will loan the money to the individual at no interest, and as soon as they pass the test, the county reimburses the bank. So it is a good deal for no money out of the person, but we've also had people that, got halfway through the class and dropped out. Now they have to pay that money back themselves, so. It is a big concern, and it's getting worse.
It's such a big commitment again to do all that.
And you look at across the state, the average age of the EMTs now, the younger ones aren't volunteering and getting into it.
And what it's gonna boil down to is the county has to provide the service, so it will get to the point where you're gonna have to pay for paramedics and.
The county that's one thing, the county does not have to provide an ambulance service, they have to provide a fire service. They do not have to provide an ambulance service.
You do not have to provide, I thought, are you sure,
Yeah.
Brad? There's a cut, I thought there was a.
Unless they just changed it in the last couple
Oh,
of
no, I thought
of years.
Okay, I thought there was state
It's-
statute, the county
Because
has
the
to provide
reason
that.
that they didn't cover that is, for years, a lot of fire departments were also ambulance. Well, Ainsworth is separate, our fire department is separate than our ambulance association, so.
They talked a lot about mutual aid too, and issues with mutual aid, like,
Having to send people?
yeah, and
Really?
like the costs
Oh.
incurred by the neighboring community, and, like you said, logistics, the time, and just all kinds of issues, lots of issues.
Lots of issues.
From start to finish. There's a pot of funds apparently that, I'm sure you know a lot more about this than I do, but there's a pot of funds that the state has available that you can apply for. And so they were talking about how to best use those funds. But yeah, anyway, it was an informative meeting, and it sounds like the conversation is continuing, because I just saw today on my state manager thread that Nebraska City is gonna host a summit for people who run their own, cities that run their own EMS, but deal with the mutual aid and same issues, and how they can figure out how to fund them, so.
Because it would, but back to your question, if the county or the city had to go and provide EMS, which I don't see a county, how you could go along without not having a service, would be unbelievably expensive.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, ungodly expensive.
Even if you're, and of course, you would be charging for
Because
the.
they're talking about going to
for the
paid
service.
Yeah,
But yeah, you'd have to look at paid paramedics.
and
that you'd have
creating
to
it as a
keep on. Yeah.
department of the city.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
How are they gonna fund it?
On the city as opposed
Yeah.
to the county, a city department instead of a county department. Well, how would that work if you had calls outside city limits?
you'd have to probably do
You'd have to have some kind of mutual.
mutual
Mutual
agreement,
aid with the
I'd say a mutual aid agreement to
Yeah.
cover that.
Yeah, it's just, it's quite the deal.
It's coming, and it's coming for it's coming for everybody. As soon as they made that so stringent on getting the certification,
And then
it's,
over, you know, a lot of counties across the state of Nebraska, the fire districts, you know, cover the whole thing. They cover the fire and the EMS and everything like that. Well, of course, in Brown County, of course, we're separate. They don't, so
Need to up your recruiting game.
we try.
it's tough.
It is so tough to get EMS. So, it may even work, you know, there's not really any requirements to become a fireman, and we can't even get people to become firemen anymore. Or if they do, they don't want to take any of the training, so how do you put them in a building that's on fire with an air pack with no training?
Yeah, and then the other main topic, I guess, is, we did, through the budget talks, we talked about transitioning softwares quite a bit and made the decision to go with Power Manager, which was the cheaper option of the ones we were considering. And so we're starting that process now, I guess. We started that a week or so ago.
So you threw out that one that was having so many problems, and now we're going with this other one. Is that kind of
That's the idea.
did you get stuck for a lot of costs on that other system or not?
Well, we shouldn't. I'm hoping it's not gonna be a snafu. I was told initially when we signed with Power Manager that we should be ready to go live in January. And our license with G-Works runs out end of December. It's an annual renewal, so I thought, well, that's perfect timing. You know, we'll just transition from one to the other. I looked up our agreement with G-Works. We have to give, I think it's 30 days written notice. So I was like, yep, this is gonna work out good. And then when we got on our kickoff meeting with them a week ago, she said something about end of January, so I'm like, okay.
Was G-Works the one that you were switching to from the previous older
It
one?
was always G-Works.
It was just a new
It was
version.
just cloud,
Okay.
kind of like QuickBooks Desktop to QuickBooks.
So you've always been with G-Works, it was just the new, okay, gotcha.
New software from G-Works.
So, to be continued on that, I'm sure it's going to be, it'll be a process, but I think we're so fed up, we're ready for whatever.
I can't imagine you're the only municipality that's making that switch.
Oh, no, I think, they told me there's like 40 cities in Nebraska going
Hey, Lisa,
Yeah.
you might check with G-Works and see if you can change since your renewal is coming up, change from a yearly to a monthly.
to. Well, I figured I'm gonna have to I was gonna wait and see for sure when we know what the timeline is, before I ask that, but yeah.
I ran into
Everybody
that
gonna
with
have enough
QuickBooks.
staff to provide customer service if they're taking on all these new accounts?
There's still a new guys that are contract runs out December 31st that we need to be in.
Well, my guess is too, they're playing it safe, you know, and trying to tell you the worst case scenario, so I'm hoping that we can just keep pushing to just get it. They're well aware that we and every other customer they have coming to them from G-Works is in the same boat. They have to be done by end of
You might check with G-Works. I ran into that with QuickBooks in that my subscription was running out the end of October, and it was a yearly subscription, and I said, okay, if I cancel in January, do I get any of my $3,000 back? And they said, no, you have 60 days from your renewal date to cancel. So that eliminated that portion, so I went to a monthly payment.
Yeah.
And that way I can cancel whenever I want.
Well, we'll keep monitoring it and hopefully we don't have to come to that point, but yes, that will be a discussion if it needs to be. We've been a customer of theirs for 95. I mean, it wasn't always G-Works, G-Works bottom out, but we've had that same software since 1995, so.
That's all?
That's all I
No check from the state?
got.
You're on, the government things are really.
I was gonna say
Shut
that
down, you're not getting anything for a
Our
while.
money's at the state.
FEMA shut down, so
Yeah.
no checks processing.
Well,
Sure, they're probably part of the shutdown.
I think keeping.
yeah, we've already approved the funding. so-
Okay.
I'm
Sorry, we did, I really
It was the last
misunderstood
thing
the
on the
time.
agenda until Lisa's report, so we just went ahead and did it.
Did you guys have any questions on it or anything, or?
Not too much, I mean, there was a little discussion about it not being a 501c3 organization, and so, but felt it was for community improvement, and it met the criteria, and so.
Okay, great, thank you. Thank you.
So with that, we will adjourn the meeting at 6:11. Thanks everybody for coming.
Thank you.
Hey, go out for supper for half hour before your next meeting.
Right, we got 45 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. 7.
Yes, someday.